Thank you, and welcome to the Dorset Church Choir Back to the 70s choir concert. And we're going to take you back to the year 1970. Now, I can't tell you a whole lot about it on firsthand experience. I was only 6 years old at the time. But in 1970, the average cost of a house was $23,450. The average income, on the other hand, was $9,400. But a gallon of gas was only 36 cents. And the average monthly rent was $140. So do you think you could scrape by in 1970? Maybe. The first bit of bad news that happened in 1970 was that the Beatles disbanded. So the Beatles that were such a big deal, that was like the first thing that happened, is that they disbanded. Also, the Apollo 13 accident that resulted in the infamous line, "Houston, we have a problem." Yes. A lot of the songs of 70s centered around space travel, things like what was that?
Benny and the Jets.
Benny and the Jets, right. Elton John, Benny and the Jets. Some of us lived in the 70s, yeah. And my favorite, ground control to Major Tom, because I'm Tom. So. And also Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon was a big hit of the 70s as well. So a lot of things kind of revolved around space travel because it was the new thing in the 70s. Other things happened that were that inspired songs as well that were a little bit more tragic, like the National Guard firing on killing 4 students at Kent State University, and that led to the Crosby, Stills and Nash song "Poor Dead in Ohio." And the U.S. invaded Cambodia in 1970, and so a lot of anti-war protest kind of things going on, and that found its way into songs as well. Also in the 70s, a Broadway show called Godspell came out, and we are going to sing a song from that right now called "Day by Day." Everybody but quartet. there's going to be a lot of up and down. It's going to feel like we're Episcopals, but we really are Congregationalists. While we're all getting situated to hear the Dorset Barbecue Quartet sing, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the year 1971. The average cost of a new house is now up to $25,250, but your income topped 10 grand now. You get 10 grand, $600. Average monthly rent, however, went up 10 bucks, $150. Cost of gallon of gas is now 40 cents. I think you can see where this is going if you remember some of that. Some of the things that happened in 1971, the New York Times begins to publish sections of the Pentagon Papers. The voting age in the United States is lowered to 18 years old when the 26th Amendment to the Constitution is ratified. Prior to that time, we were sending kids to war and not letting them vote. The Walt Disney World theme park opened in Florida in 1971. And the television show All in the Family debuted. See if we remember any of this. Boy, the way Glenn Miller played songs that made the hit parade. Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Another event that happened in that year was a casino burned down in Montreux, and it inspired a song called Smoke on the Water, which certain guitarists of a certain age, it was the first thing they ever learned.
And the bass player.
If you look up the lyrics to that, it all has to do with an actual event that happened where a casino burned down during a Frank Zappa concert. In 1971, Apollo 14 landed on the moon, and two pretty famous jingles written by the same person came out in that year too. One was, "If You've Got the Time."
We got the beer.
Yeah, we got the beer. And then the other one, which actually robbed a song. Dave was right on that with the beer, wasn't he? So there was a popular song at the time. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. But now we got to be material. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. That's the real thing. All right, so enough of 1971. Let us hear from the Dorset Barbecue Quartet with a Beatles tune. Even though they disbanded, these guys are still together, so be grateful for that. Let me give you it now.
Anybody, I want somebody to love. Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I just need someone to love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Yes, I get by with a little help from my friends. With a little help from my friends.
All right. While the choir is coming back up, I'm going to tell you about 1972. Average cost of the house is now up to $27,550. Monthly rent is $165, and your income is $11,800. Cost of a gallon of gas is now already up to 55 cents. I think you kind of see where we're going with this. Some things that happened that year, 5 White House operatives are arrested for burglarizing the offices of the Democratic National Committee and the start of the Watergate scandal. And so that news was all throughout that summer of that year. Even so, Nixon was elected by a landslide that November. There were anti-war demonstrations drawing 100,000 people in some major U.S. cities. Some of those may have included a group called Country Joe and the Fish, who sang a song about Governor Ronald Reagan's. Well, he's a drugstore truck driving man. He's the head of the Ku Klux Klan, is what the lyrics said. He wasn't, but it made for good lyrics anyway. The Dow Jones Industrials closed over 1,000 for the first time in history. I think we're a little bit higher than that these days. And the television show MASH debuted that year as well. So. All right, so we're going to sing a Crosby, Stills and Nash song called Powerhouse. All right, so while they're getting situated, another year has gone by. 1973 I'm going to tell you about. Average cost of the new house is at 32 grand now, and you're almost making 13 grand a year, so that's feeling pretty good. Your rent went up to 175, though. Gallon of gas went down to 40 cents. That's interesting. I wonder how that happened. Maybe I got those two reversed. I think maybe 73. That's oil prices. Yeah, okay. I made a mistake when I was copying and pasting here. In 1973, the United States ends its involvement in the Vietnam War after the signing of the Paris Peace Accords. At the same time, OPEC oil increased their prices by 200%. So yes, I definitely got those gallon of gas things wrong. In 1973, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled on Roe versus Wade, and that's settled law now, right? Yeah. The Sydney Opera House opened in 1973, and the World Trade Center became the tallest building in New York. That's not true either. Okay, so the women's chorus is going to sing a Joni Mitchell tune, Both Sides Now. And if you had a chance to watch the Grammys last week, you saw Joni Mitchell sing this an octave lower than she originally did when she was 23 years old and wrote it. But I just felt it was just a really momentous occasion for somebody who had lived an entire life and seen life from both sides now. And I hope you'll listen to the words and think of Joni. So for you purists, you may say, oh, she actually wrote that in 1969. This is supposed to be a 70s concert. And the way I'm getting around that is saying that, you know, folk music sometimes takes a little while to get out there in the general public. And so people didn't start hearing that until the 70s. And they certainly sang it all the way through the 70s. This next song is actually from the 70s. It's actually the late 70s, about 1977 or 78, and it's by a group called Kansas, and it's called Dust in Wind. And if you feel like singing along and adding a harmony or whatever, I'm perfectly okay with that. I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams pass before my eyes, a curiosity, dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind. Same old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Don't hang on. Nothing lasts forever but the earth and sky. It slips away, and all your money won't another minute buy. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Dust in the wind. Everything is dust in the wind. Bring the quartet back up here. And they still have not got the news that the Beatles broke up, so.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. Oh, I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. I believe in yesterday. Whoa. Had to go, I don't know. She would not say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. I believe in yesterday was so far away. Oh, yesterday was far away. Ooh, yesterday.
About some things that happened in 1974. Richard Nixon became the first U.S. president to resign after the Watergate scandal and was later pardoned by Gerald Ford in that same year. And a guy from Maine, Stephen King, he was 26 years old at the time, published his debut novel, Carrie. The 55-mile-an-hour speed limit was imposed to preserve gas usage all throughout the United States. Vermont still hasn't gotten the memo. We have like 50 miles an hour almost all places. And the Sears Tower in Chicago became the world's tallest building in 1974. And speaking of jingles, as I did a couple of years ago, let's see if you can finish this one for me. Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce.
Special orders don't upset us.
All we ask is
That you let us have it your way.
have it your way.
Have it your way.
Aren't you glad for this little trip down memory lane? I mean, I wouldn't eat the stuff, but you know, that's all right. Our show is sponsored by. Okay, up next is a Simon and Garfunkel tune called Scarborough Fair. So while we're on the subject of Simon and Garfunkel, we have a Simon and a Garfunkel right here. We're going to do sounds of silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone. Neath the halo of a street lamp, I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. For said I, you do not know, silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you, take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they did. And the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the signs and the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sounds of silence.
Okay, as the choir is coming back up, I'm going to bore you with more details of history. Because, you know, those who don't learn from history are, uh-oh. That was just a stool falling over, not a choir member. That is the important thing we need to know here. We made it to 1975, and Margaret Thatcher becomes the first woman leader of the British Conservative Party. And the Vietnam War ends, and the U.S. carries out the Vietnam Operation Baby Lift, bringing Vietnamese orphans to the U.S. And here's a real trivial one. Sony introduces Betamax, and at the same time, JVC introduces VHS. Remember when we had to get the Beta and the VHS, and which kind of player were you going to use? Oh, one of my favorite films that came out in 1975. All it takes is 2 notes. Thank you. What's his name? John Williams wrote those 2 notes. Like, who didn't think of those 2 notes before? And here's a couple of commercials that we'll see if you know these ones. See if you can get through the entire thing. It starts with 2 all-beef patties. We got the sesame seed bun anyway. comes the king, here comes the big number one. Okay, I guess we don't have a lot of Budweiser drinkers here.
Clydesdales are coming back tomorrow. The Clydesdales are gonna be back tomorrow.
And then Lonnie's all grown up too.
Oh, wow, yes.
All right, we have a Bob Russell tune here to sing called He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. In 1977, I haven't kept you updated on cost of things here. The new house is $49,000. Your income is up to $15,000, but your average monthly rent is $240. But the cost of a gallon of gas is a scandalous 65 cents now. It's getting near double what it was in 1970s. But the good news is that Star Wars opened in the movies. Bad news was that Elvis Presley died at the age of 42. Look how old he would be now. He's older than that. All right, the quartet has one more song to do for us. It's also Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Find the Cost for Freedom.
Lay your body down. Daylight find the cost of freedom buried in the ground. Mother Earth will swallow you, lay your body down. Do we find the cost of freedom buried in the ground? Mother Earth will swallow you, lay your body down. Do we find the cost of freedom buried in the ground? Mother Earth will swallow you, lay your body down.
You just
Lay your body down.
I said,
Lay your body down.
I missed one important thing that happened in the 70s, in 1976, which is that President Jimmy Carter was elected. In 1978, Egypt and Israel signed the Camp David Accords. So we can see a lot of the same stories play out over and over again. You're doomed to repeat some of them. This next song, Where Have All the Flowers Gone, was written by Pete Seeger a while before the 60s, but was sung a lot in the 70s. And Where Have All the Flowers Gone is based on a Ukrainian folk song. So we're sort of covering all the war-torn areas of the world.
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers
just to wrap it up, I'll tell you a little bit about 1979. Gas is up to 86 cents, by the way. The 3 Mile Island nuclear accident happened. China institutes the one-child per family rule because of overpopulation there. In music news, Pink Floyd released the album The Wall. You don't need no education. I had fun teaching that to 7th graders in Pennsylvania. They really needed it though. And in technology, Sony released the Walkman. Remember people wearing their Walkmans all the time? And right here in Vermont, the snowboard was invented. Pretty cool. All right, a Cat Stevens song, Peace Train.
About the world as one, and I believe it
Okay, we don't have an encore, except if you come down into the vestry, we all brought snacks. So there's some good food down there. I hope you will enjoy it. Also, at various locations throughout the sanctuary, there are baskets out. This is a free concert, but it's always nice to throw a couple of bucks in there, help support our music program and help these guys keep getting better. Thanks again for all their hard work.